I like your first question about people who have gone against the grain a lot. These people often have the ability, as you said, to influence large amounts of other people. While these influencers are not always positive, the ones that choose to use their ability for good are hugely important to that society in that time period. Alfred Kinsey is a great example of someone who had a major influence on society by going against the grain. Another great example of an American who had an influence, a major influence on society, is Oprah Winfrey. We all have a general sense of who Oprah is and what she has represented in American society. Oprah is possibly the most influential entertainment host in the history of all television. But she also means so much more than that to America as a powerful female African American. She has achieved fame and success all while sticking to her beliefs and heritage. People have ridiculed and hated on her since she became well known, but she refuses to falter in her stances on many, many important topics. There's even a term out there coined the Oprah effect that alludes to her influence on society. This practically means that whatever stance she stands by at the time gains increased support and influence in the immediate aftermath of her public support. She's been an integral supporter of victims of sexual assaults because she was a victim. She supports LGBTQ individuals, and she even supports certain political figures that were important to American society, like President Obama. Oprah is known to use public confession as a way for her to deal with her own issues, as well as normalizing a dialogue about those issues she has had. These topics have included her weight, her propensity for unhealthy relationships, and even her race and its place in American society. People who relate to her issues feel empowered to talk about their own problems without feeling shame because Oprah didn't feel shame talking about hers. I think it's just very cool that such a prominent modern figure in America is a proud female African American. That's a really great thing. She has definitely opened the door for many who have followed in her footsteps. I'm torn on your second question about people being born exclusively heterosexual or homosexual. You're kind of asking multiple different questions here, so I'm going to answer them one at a time. First, I think it is unquestionably important for people to live their lives as they please in regards to sexuality. It is very upsetting to me that we legislate sexuality just because some people disagree with the idea of some things. Humans do not have the capacity to define moral codes regarding sexuality, so we should not even try to do that. And if something bothers you but has no effect on your life, you should not interrupt or disrupt someone else's life for your own selfish reasons. People will always fall back on religion as a crutch for their own insecurity, and that's a really relevant idea in regards to sexuality. People, and that's a huge thing nowadays about people disagreeing with a lot of the LGBTQ members just because they don't agree with it or they can't relate to it. And as for your second question on this, I always say that a consistently constant conversation about sexuality is very important. We do a much better job in modern society than ever before, but some people are still resistant to the idea of talking about sexuality. You are referring specifically to having a societal dialogue about whether people are exclusively heterosexual or homosexual. Anyone who claims that people are one or the other is severely marginalizing a subset of the population who identifies somewhere in the middle. It can be damaging to these people to say that their sexuality does not even exist. to me, the construct of sexuality is a spectrum for all people. We all exist on that spectrum in a unique position, which makes sexuality very individual. Kinsey is hugely important in echoing this belief that sexuality is far more complex than one or the other. And it's important to, like he showed, to have a dialogue about this, because some people still don't understand that. So I think it is important to have a dialogue, just like Kinsey created having that dialogue about sexuality, even any part of it, because it's still such a taboo thing. Even today in 2019, we still kind of cringe at the idea of talking about sexuality when it's such a natural process, and it's not supposed to be. It shouldn't be taboo. It should be normalized, because it'll make everybody feel more included if we talk about it and, support everyone, regardless of what they identify as. It shouldn't matter. So we do need to talk about it. So I don't think we should not talk about it because everyone should be allowed to do what they want. We should talk about it because everyone should be allowed to do what they want, and not everyone agrees with that, especially lawmakers in America. So I think it is important to have a dialogue about these things.